Welcome to my Module 6 activity report. The unit I'm presenting here is Unit 6, which is a look at animation and Flash. It follows the audio unit, where students will have developed a familiarity with timelines. Following the Flash unit will be video, where they can draw upon all the elements of Flash and that experience. From a structure perspective, I chose to split up my lessons into three main areas. The first area is introduction, which introduces students to the basic software and terminology and understanding of basic tweens. The second element is cartoon fundamentals, and again, where they were able to practice and develop their skills. The summative assignment, which is the greeting card assignment, really takes all the lessons that students have learned in Flash and applies them and gives them an opportunity to reorganize their ideas and to present what they can do. Here's my seed-to-seed animation. The student can choose to do any kind of variation on this. This is a maple tree and its growth cycle with a number of animated elements here. My simple animation we'll use in a future video. This is the last animation, which is the e-card. I chose to do a simple birthday greeting card. From a strategy of the students' engagement is so important to the classroom. We need to let the students be a very large part of our classroom. It needs to be a positive environment with lots of feedback. I like to pair up the students. I think that you can pair up two or more students in a group and have that group be very successful once you see how the students work together. And as with the beginning of each class, I also would like to do kind of a wrap-up session at the end of each class. This will give them ample time to do some of the reporting and blogging that I like to see in the classroom. From a design perspective, I follow a lot of the design processes throughout my lesson plans, as you'll see. The environment is a student-oriented environment. Discussion in the class is a huge motivator to students, as they feel that they have some say in what they're doing. Learning goals I would post each day, but I'd be willing to change those learning goals based on that discussion and class involvement that we have at the beginning of each period. The last method I would use is Socratic teaching method, which has its place in all classrooms, but I would try to have the students be involved as much as possible. The project audience for Flash, for the e-card project in particular, is fairly wide. In general, I would try to use something that's very current to the school, whether that be a student council or a formal or upcoming event perspective. The Flash e-cards will create a lot of activity outside the classroom. There will be a general enthusiasm from the school as people see some of the capabilities that students are getting, and hopefully that'll bring in more students into the program. From a software perspective, Adobe Flash is the obvious required software. In addition, I used a lot of Photoshop or GIMP, and this all required an editing station with internet access. From a step-by-step procedure, here's that look at the design process. I spent a little bit of time up front in each project doing a planning phase, where I asked them to do three main ideas and develop them a little bit to really make a decision on what project they like to move forward with. The second element is storyboard generation. This can be carried forward into video editing as well. The next one is library element creation, and this is really where the student goes and searches out elements they want to include in their movie based on their storyboard and their idea generation. Animation creation is where the students are actually taking those designed elements and creating the simple animations. Last is creation of the files themselves and review. Revisions are important. That review cycle has to be a little bit of an iterative process. I learned a lot on this project. For me, the biggest learning element was to keep it simple. From a student perspective, I would hope the students would learn that organization is very important to any environment, especially a software-based environment of this nature, and that their Flash elements get much easier and easier to do as they practice those elements. Each of my assignments would have some form of rubric, and with that rubric would go an assignment, a detailed assignment list, which I'll make available in the attachment. I certainly believe that students need constant and consistent feedback. Group discussion is very important. It needs to be a student-oriented classroom, and there needs to be a willingness to amend the approach of the activities and the rubric even based on feedback from the students. Flash material can get out of very easily. The students are able to make these amazing transformations, but we need to get them to the place where they're going to spend a little bit more time on some of the finer elements. Creating those bitmaps and tracing them, that kind of element within Flash really makes a difference on its output. There's a number of links, etc. that I used in creating my Flash elements here below. Flash assignment sheet. I will attach it along with this activity report. And the last element is my rubric that I would share with the students at the beginning of the project. This should follow along with the assignment. Well, thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and feel free to give me some feedback.